to your right.
This question is for Mr. Scott Snyder. So one of the issues of Zero Year, we see Bruce Wayne discussing gadgets with Lucius Fox. Was it your idea to throw in the Batman Beyond Batsuit? Because it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was my idea. But the one of the fun things about that book is that Greg and I just throw things back and forth all the time. So in issue 5, the turn that we did, that was his idea, and it's really fun collaborating with Jim on Superman. Like, one of the great things about working on a comic like Batman or Superman or any of it is that it's coming from prose. You don't realize how isolated almost all other forms of writing are. You come to comics and you're constantly working on a living, organic thing with somebody you really admire or like, and trust, and you make something together that the ideas just become completely intertwined. That's my way of saying I've stolen all the ideas from Greg. And they're both of those. No, thank you. That was a fun issue. I love Batman Beyond. So.
It's almost greater than the total of the parts, right? I mean, that's the fun in collaborating, is that you get something that neither of us necessarily envisioned outright 100% fully realized from the start. It's that back and forth. And when you're finished, kind of flip through and go like, this is like, that's the charge I get out of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, next question is in the center and third row.
Scott, you mentioned how you kind of close your eyes and you draw Bruce in the way that you envisioned him, so he's your Bruce and everyone's opinion matters, but not really. This question's for Jim. When you draw, especially heroines and Batman, and you imagine your Batman and what you idealize for, like, what's attractive for women, do you look at what's popular right now and what's attractive in culture or certain celebrities, or does it always remain the same for you?
I use myself as reference most of the time, so I don't know if that's appealing, or now you might look at the comics a little differently, but I do. Yeah, so yeah, because when I usually draw very late at night, so it's hard to get. My wife doesn't like it when I wake her up to pose for me in the middle of the night for reference. But I've had my kids, pose like in Batman Hush. There's young Bruce with his friend, and they're holding hands or playing games, and so I'll pose people. Gosh, you know what? I if anything, maybe fashion and hairstyles is not necessarily from celebrities, but celebrities are covered in magazines, so that's typically the influence. But you do want to have it be somewhat contemporary and not. I remember when I was a kid, my pet peeve was like, oh, these characters in the 80s, they're still wearing like bell-bottom jeans and stuff, right? And you could see the artist had really kind of stopped looking at pop culture around him, or culture around him, and kind of frozen in that time and place. And so it's something that I want to keep up to date on. I know I get knocked for like collars and this and that, but I do try to like really add other things that are going on, but the high-waisted jeans have got to go. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I will not go there. People are like, what is he talking about? I don't know. So, but yeah, very much influenced by people around me, what I see in magazines, and I do try to keep it consistent, and that's what keeps the characters young. I was just drawing Lois Lane, and to me, Lois Lane, like, there's a very traditional way of drawing her, but I wanted to do something that reflected what a modern career woman would look like today, and hopefully, I hopefully hit the mark. But it's, yeah, thanks.
Jim drew my wife into the book, by the way.
That's right.
It was awesome. She's a doctor, and so she's like taking care of this patient, talking to Lois Lane. We have the page. It's awesome.
Did you get killed though? It's always a tough one to explain your life.
We have time for 2 more questions. The next question is going to be in the back to your far right.